can take a session in the evening. I'll call you up, Vilas. We can have on that specific thing separately, and we can continue with Vivekachudamani.
Okay, so let's ask, what does she okay? Lata, are you okay?
I said I'm fine. You can repeat the same thing. It's okay. I can still listen.
You can still listen. Okay, so you got interested in the chitta.
Now I'm behind suttas. I have been behind the mind for quite some time now.
Yes. Okay, Srihari, this will help in looking at what is Maya and what is Brahman. So it's good way to understand. Now, what is basically called as mind or manas? What do you think it is? It is for you, Srihari. I don't want to ask Lata because she's going to answer. She's heard all about this.
Okay.
What do we think as mind? What do you know about mind?
Mind is the one that integrates all the activities that a human being is doing with respect to the karma and as well as the thoughts, putting the thoughts into action.
Okay.
Yeah. The feelings, the consciousness feeling, or the perceptions.
Okay.
And it also is the one that enables the vasanas or the sukritas to be done in this life.
Okay. So let me explain to you what is mind or manas. Manas is a container. It will fill whatever is put inside that. Normally it is shown as a lake. And in that lake arises something called a chitta. Have you heard about this?
Chitta. Did you say chitta?
Chitta, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Chitta, there is no English term except for saying it is mind. So let's forget about English and we'll put it as chitta. Now, every chitta, no matter whatever it is, will have something to contact with. So there is sparsha. And when it contacts with, there is something called as vedana, which is called feeling. And there is samgnya called as perception. Then there is chetana, and that is called intention. Okay. And then there is jiva or jivita indriya, which is called as life source. And it is something having a way to memorize, smriti. So this is what will be there in every given chitta when it arises. So there are three kinds of chitta. One chitta which is moral oriented, which is called as deva. One which is immoral oriented, which is daitya. Another one is the one where it is neutral, called as kriya, which is also called as divine, the daiva. So generally, when we do something and it is negative in nature, sometime when we try reflection, that is, this word called reflection means that you are, when you say you, is that chitta which is divine evaluating the action being taken, by evaluating whether to do or not to do. That is coming from a source called as intellect or buddhi. So when the buddhi interacts with the pure chitta called as daiva, then all actions which are done in that will become deva, moral. If that buddhi interacts with the daiva but follows the daitya route, immoral, then all the chittas are immoral. If it were to stay in the center, the viveka were to stay in the center, establish itself in the center, then it remains as daiva, divine. And that divinity is called as Brahman. In the other two cases, the chittas have memory and hence it can identify. It can go back and reflect upon and see that what it had become. So every chitta eventually will have something called as swa-bhava. Swa is self and bhava is to become, to be, whatever it wants to be. Each chitta decides what it wants to be. There is complete independence on that chitta. Till the bhava remains, bhava means whatever it has become as human, that body remains. These chitta manifest in the human heart and keep on doing whatever should be done either through mind or through speech or through body. So when it becomes gross, it is called as kaya or sharira. When it becomes subtle, it is called as vak or vacha. And it is very subtler at the beginning. It is called as mano or manas. So, or manasa. So we say kaya, vacha, manasa. So when we say Om Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi, one is for the kaya, two is for the vacha, three is for the manasa. So what is there to have a shanti is that withdrawal of the senses is shanti. So that means when the chittas don't pulverize the mind, which is the container, by filling up with the colors in the sense that whatever it takes, if it takes bright things to do, it becomes deva. If it takes dark things to do, it becomes daitya. If it remains pure without contamination, it turns white. So the container is pure white, no blemish anywhere. If it is contaminated, that is in the lake of that chitta, lake which is the mind, if there is a lot of dirt and that comes to the surface of the lake, it looks dirty. So we call that as a dirty mind. If it's looking good with lot of flowers and a lot of scented and good nature, we call that person as a noble minded person or a good minded person. But nobody talks anything about this neutral kind of a person because it's Brahman, doesn't do any activity at all. It's pure, sparkling white. Now, what is pure and white? Pure white means transparent. There's nothing there. It doesn't have any coloring at all. So that is the state of Brahman. Now, when the person has attachments, that stage is called as Atma. Now, Atma Jnana or Atma Ananda is to see how chittas are formed. Then the personality view is not there. That is, the person that I am, this person does not exist. So the person lets go of that thinking, because there was no person in the first place, it was only chittas which are there, no real person there. And so he loses interest, or she loses interest on the body. So this moral and immoral actions which are done on the chittas are the chittas which are strong enough to do. How does it happen? It happens due to samskaras. And how did samskara happen? It is because of the vasana. So a person is born, when I say a person, is those accumulation of chittas take shape in the womb, which will fill its karmic qualities, what it has to become. That is swabhava, what it has to become itself. So with that swabhava comes the jati. Jati means, ja means to be born, ti is to exist or to be. So the person takes the birth. What we call as birth is that it takes possession to become what it wants to become. So these chittas accumulate together based upon the karma, for which vasanas are the source, are the beginning source. And what are vasanas? They are called impressions. And how did we create impression? It is as we are doing now, we create a lot of impression. Right now, this discussion what we are having, all the chittas for all of us is either deva or daiva. There is no immoral daitya chittas operating right now. Do we have potential of the negative forces? Yes, it is. But are they right now there? No. I'll give certain examples, which I was giving to one of my Sri Lankan friend. Is that one of my friend sends a video which is very sensual in nature on WhatsApp. And this friend of mine, Sri Lankan, sends me a document relating to some spirituality, relating to Buddha's teaching. And there's another friend of mine who is sending a video consisting of the COVID-19 and how India is when compared to other countries, and how this disease is spreading, and what are the controversies relating to corona. Is it true? Is it not true? And all of that. So there is a lot of video he has sent. It's around 20 minutes video. And the first friend of mine who has sent the video is around 20 minutes, which is fully sensual in nature, can be related to whatever, but it is sensual in nature. And this friend of mine who has sent spiritual is another 20-minute video. All the three are videos, let us say. Now, if my chittas at that time is moral, it will pick up the spiritual one to watch. While it is watching, if there are vasanas relating to the sensuality, which takes immediate possession of the chitta, of that, not chitta, of the mind, which is manas, the container, it stops this moral chitta from progressing. It immediately stops. In its place, these immoral chittas will start to flourish, bringing out all the experiences what was there. So this body starts experiencing, because the container, the mind, has become that. So now I am enjoying sensuality. I in the sense that the chittas are no longer there of what kind? It no longer of there of the COVID kind or of the moral kind.
Who
Now,
triggers this, Vilas?
who what?
Who is triggering this change?
The vasana.
From
Vasanas.
Oh,
Vasanas.
okay.
There is no person who is doing it. The vasanas themselves do it.
So the vasanas,
Yeah.
take precedence one over the other.
Yes.
depending on which one at that moment is more prominent.
Yes.
Okay.
More prominent. So now in this chitta, what happens? The interest is towards sensuality. So I see the video for 20 minutes. Then this friend of mine had sent about COVID. So I get interested in that. That is again immoral because it incites fear. The first one incited passion. So all the chittas which arose were passionate kind. This second video, what I'm seeing is chittas which will generate fear kind. So the container is filled with fear. Okay. Now I will forward it to another 10 set of people who are fearful. So I will send them this video. And I will also forward that sensual video what he had sent to another 10 set of people. Let us say he had sent about food, which is prepared and how it should be prepared and what should be done and blah blah blah. And now I feel that wow, such a food can be prepared sitting at home. Then I tell my wife, this food, you just check it out, so nice, nicely made and all that. And then she will also get chittas of sensuality. Now she goes rushes to the kitchen and she start preparing, and then I'll say, if how about sending this to this many number of people? And then she says, yes, 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 all these people would be interested, so I'll forward that to this 10 people. When I forward, it means the chittas through the vasanas forwarded it to those 10 other chittas, or thousands of chittas called as A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H human beings, and they will also start watching, or hopefully they should start watching. Then this COVID kind, I'll show to my wife and she'll say, oh my goodness, oh this is very bad, it has come very near to our home, what should we do, how should we protect ourselves? That's the reason you should not step outside, you should wear mask, you should wear gloves, maybe we should wear PPE also along with that, and this and that, and we should not get contaminated. A lot of these things are happening. All the chittas are burning with fear. The first one was burning with passion, and the second one is burning with fear. So now what I do, I will forward that to 10 people. The third one, where my friend has sent about this moral, I might not watch at all because I am so engrossed in the first and the third one. The second one is not at all noticed. I'll say, okay, we'll get some time and then time I'll see it. Why see now? So all my chittas are either passionate chittas or fearful chittas. And after some time, the fearful chittas will go away and I run to the kitchen to see what my wife is preparing. So all have turned itself into a passionate chitta. Okay, in the meanwhile, another set of passionate chittas will come to hear to music. So I will put some light music, and my wife also feels very happy, and we both start working in the kitchen and we prepare the dish. Unmindful that today is Wednesday and have a lot of meetings to attend. So I don't mind doing some, I don't want to be ethical also because I'm supposed to attend meetings. So what I do is I'll tell my wife, you know what, anyway, it is work from home. Nobody is going to see. Anyway, I'm a consultant, so I don't have to do anything except for hearing the stand-up meeting and all that. I will put it on Teams, and then we'll continue working on that food. So again, this immoral taken over. So now there is no moral at all left in the container. It's filled with either passion and immorality. And after some time, somebody is calling on the Teams, Vilas, how did you feel our stand-up meeting went? Now I am in the kitchen. Now suddenly I hear the voice, and then I go there. What is the chittas which are there now? I went because of hearing something. So from mind sense door, the sound came, and the chittas said that there is something at this door. Which chitta? The divinity chittas. Something has come on this door. Now I start to tremble. Because now those chittas which were on passionate kind go away because this has come. So those chittas which are related to project now have to come. And I have not even heard a single sentence from the time they've been doing stand-up meeting. So when they ask me, Vilas, what is your opinion? Now what happens? I'll say, hi, it is good. I think you should continue. And they say that, okay, thank you, Vilas, for the information. We will continue. Now, what I have done is, what the chittas have arrived there is the immoral kind. So now the mind again goes back, meaning mind in the sense the chittas goes back to the immoral and passionate thought process, because they keep on creating karma and karma vipaka. The karma what it created is immoral kind, the karma what was created was passionate kind, and the vipaka or the fruit of that, it continues with another set of chitta. Then I will tell to my wife, why don't you put this, I think we can modify this what is that, this dish slightly and make it much better, and then we can post it on YouTube, and I can make a video on YouTube, I can create a channel for you and you can post it and all that. We are talking. So I've totally forgotten everything else, because once one set of chitta takes over, it doesn't allow another set of chittas at all to be there. So many times in a day, a person so called as a person might be on immoral kind and it can be on moral kind, but never in the center, because he doesn't know something is there called as center, because that center chittas is the daiva chittas. If by chance he gets to know and discards the immoral chittas immediately by cleansing and finding out that there are only chittas, there is no reality there, there is no life there, then the lake which were having these bad, dirty water is cleaned at once, leaving only the moral chittas along with the daiva chittas. So now you have only deva guna and daiva guna. Now the vishesha speciality is only deva. Worst case scenario, if a death were to come, then when the chittakshana, that is space between two chittas, that is where it's called as time and space. Chittakshana is the time, and that the chittas moving from one to another is the space. And that is the reason we have something called as a past, and we call something as a present and something as a future. In the daiva chittas, there is nothing called as a past and present and the future. Only in the container we can say something existed earlier and something is existing now and something can be existing in the future, because it's a container. But in the chittas, there is nothing to contain. They just come and drop in the box called as mind or manas. So now if the mind is purified to an extent of removing all the kushala or all the moral chittas also and make it daiva, it doesn't even become deva, because it is pure and bright. So it is liberated. So there is no individuality at all. So at that time, all the moral chittas will experience something called its own swabhava, and that is called as atma bhava, or it is atmananda. When all of these chittas freeze and become divine, then it becomes brahmananda. There is no longer anything to exist, because the swabhava does not anymore being there. So there is no bhava at all. So if there is no bhava, then there is no jati at all, there is no birth. So without bhava, no birth can happen, and for the bhava to happen, we should have something in the chitta to hold, and that container is the holding one. It keeps on holding something or the other. So this is what we can see from the chitta perspective. This is, so when we say Satchitananda, Sat is the existence. And Chit is called as consciousness because there is no other word in English to define Chit. And Ananda is bliss. Sat means whatever exists at this time in the container. At this time in the container, nothing exists. So it has become Shunya, devoid of everything. The mind doesn't exist. So the Buddhi stands alone. The intellect, Buddhi, stands alone because it has cleared off all. Using the Buddhi, the Chittas are removed from the mind stream, which is called as a lake. Now, if this lake is filled with nothing except for pure water. So that is Brahman. So what happens here is that we can call it as Brahman, we can call it as Ananda, we can call it as Nirvana, we can call by whatever possible name to indicate that, but it doesn't have anything. So that is release. So it's released, the chittas are released from the bondage of samsara, that is arising, staying and passing away. So it is called as Srishti, Sthiti and Laya. These are the three states which it undergoes. It's almost 10 or it is 10. Should we continue or should we stop?
We'll continue tomorrow.
Okay, you have any questions before closing?
I think this today's session is extraordinary. So I can relate in many aspects to my mind as well. So which comes and goes. It's kind of a state of monkey mind.
Correct.
Something and the other comes and goes, and then makes things go okay.
Good then. All right, then we will end the session today.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you, Lata.
Bye.
Thank you, Shri.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.